Joni, okay? Because I got the cyclone sweatshirt. All right, no, don't hold. You guys are just so wonderful. I am so excited to get to be here. Haven't been this excited about a candidate for quite a while, except for Deb Fisher. Nebraska's so lucky to have her. The nation is so lucky to have Deb out there fighting for American values and to put America back on the right track. And as she said, she needs some reinforcement there in Washington, D.C. Are you ready to send your reinforcement? And that is Deb Fisher. We're happy to get to do whatever we can to help and hopefully not hurt her campaign, because we recognize too, so many hardworking patriots across this nation recognize the dire need that we have, that this nation has, for a fighter there in D.C. to kind of buck the tide, what's going on there now. The status quo has got to go, because the status quo in Washington, D.C. is just kind of more of the same, more big spenders, more of those, unfortunately, on both sides of the aisle, just kind of going along to get along. We can't afford that. The nation's going to be bankrupt. We're going to be less and less secure unless we have those who are willing to put it all on the line, who are willing to buck that establishment and do what the people, in this case of Iowa, will be sending her to do for us. We're going to be hiring her, expecting her to fulfill campaign promises. Unfortunately, that seems a little bit few and far between when it comes to politicians today. So just so happy that, heck yeah, we found a candidate that we know we can have this faith in. We can trust her. She's proven herself over and over again. She is the right one. Can't wait to see her there as that reinforcement that is so needed. And, you know, she coming from the heartland, Iowa, you guys. It's so comfortable being here. And people who get to travel to Iowa and get that sense of your work ethic and the values, the tradition that are so Americana here reflected in Iowa, to know that it's her values, her worldview that has been confirmed here in these roots in Iowa that really will help the rest of the nation as her beliefs and her values, her world vision is made manifest in the policies that she'll be able to support. Iowa, you know, feeding America, literally, that is what you do, that is who you are in more ways than one, feeding America. Your state motto even is just so doggone appropriate. Our liberties we prize, our rights we will maintain. Well, we need those in Washington, D.C. I want to thank She-PAC for hosting this event and for supporting, supporting, and endorsing good candidates across the nation. With She-PAC, they just happen to be female candidates, you know, because they are the ones who know inherently how to fight like a girl, and that's what we're going to be. We thank them for their support of good conservative women. We are here today to endorse a lady who's already shaking it up back in Washington, D.C. The eyes of the nation are on you, ma'am. She being this hard worker with such a resume, and as we're pulling in, you know, I'm looking at her, I don't know if she considers it a campaign bus, it's more like a small Winnebago, with the coolest wrap on it though. Coolest campaign bus in the nation, I think. It's gorgeous, and it says it all about castrating those hogs, you know? But the eyes of the nation are on her. You know that ad that she put out, right? About, that right there, I mean, it got people's attention because it's like, whoa, nobody's going to push her around. She's not going to be co-opted. And that's so important in Washington today because so often, you know, it's our responsibility, of course, to get the right people there in office. It's your responsibility. Too often, man, we work hard, we send them there, and then they do kind of get co-opted, right? And then, oh, we get so disappointed and we think, is it worth it to get back out there and put our resources towards another person, just hope and praying that they don't become one of, you know, just one of many. They're in D.C. going along to get along. You just know that, even via that ad that she was bold enough to put out, she's not one who's going to be told to sit down and shut up and sit in the back corner and let the good old boys do what they've been doing all these years. That is refreshing. That is what is needed. So I applaud you for being so bold with that ad. It really got people thinking because it was so unique and it was so courageous. Yeah, she's got everyone's attention. And I love that she's introduced herself to the folks in Washington with one word, just one word, very simply, you know, squill. And that's what's going to happen because D.C. is a town that, of course, it knows its pork products, but they've never seen anything like Joni Ernst. She being real Iowa country, the Inside the Beltway crowd, though, they just had better not underestimate this gal from flyover country. She is a patriot. She is a fighter. And I know you all know her resume, but we have some press here that maybe don't. So I'm going to take the time to give you a little bit more about her resume so that hopefully you'll take some of that away and you will report accurately about this wonderful candidate, okay? And then I won't even ad-lib what I was going to say about the press because I don't want them to take it out on Joni, okay? I'll try to be nice about what I really think about the mainstream media and how they cover conservative women in politics, okay? We'll be nice about this. I know he's saying, bring it on. Come on, I want to hear it, I want to hear it. You already know, though, don't you? It's obvious. Okay. Well, first of all, you know, this patriot, this fighter from flyover country, from the heartland, first, she's packing, and she knows how to use it, okay? That's number one. She values freedom. She values that Second Amendment right of ours. One of the reasons that she knows that value of freedom is because she has been to places where the people do not have that freedom that Americans have. You know, in college, she had gone to Ukraine. She had worked on a collective farm, and of course, Ukraine has changed since then. But it seems like our president is doing all that he can to bring Ukraine back to where it was with his very strange foreign policies. He will do well. Our president will do well to hear from Joni Ernst and to hear what she has to say about freedom and what it takes to protect our freedom. So Joni took a different lesson from her experience there in Ukraine, and she came back to Iowa. She joined the Army ROTC. I'm so proud to hear of that because so many people, especially those who will just take for granted, I guess, what it is that we have in America, they may talk the talk about how important it is to get out there and do all you can to fight for freedom. She has walked the walk. She's literally been there. Army ROTC. She went on to serve your state and our exceptional nation as a soldier and a lieutenant colonel, and she commanded Iowa's largest National Guard battalion, proudly leading a unit of Iowa's finest into Kuwait and Iraq, and that was in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. So, watch out, Washington, Joni Ernst. She's a mama grizzly, ready to take a stand against the Russian bear. She knows what she's talking about when she talks about freedom, what it takes to protect it. So, as a Blue Star mom myself, I know that our men and women in uniform, they'll have a friend in Joni in the United States Senate. Her husband, Gail, as well, a 28-year retired Army Ranger. That's impressive, you guys. That's impressive. Thank you for your service. Now, my son he forbade me from ever saying that in public again. He says, Mom, you don't pronounce it right. Don't try. Don't even say it, okay? Well, you said it just like I say it. So good. Former Command Sergeant Major, too. That's amazing. In fact, Gail, I tell you, you all, if you love freedom, thank a vet, thank Gail, thank others who have served in the past, your president. You with your hat on, we salute you. Anyone who has served in the past or presently serving in the United States military, raise your hand so that we can thank you and honor you. You've got a friend in Joni. budgets so that she's not slashing numbers and pay and benefits to America's finest for those who have made the sacrifice for our freedoms. She'll know, no. You put them first. You put those who have made those sacrifices in their families. You put them first. That's how you thank them. You don't slash what it is that they have already earned. So she'll be able to shake it up a little bit there in that arena also. So, Joni, pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, pro-Constitution, yes! And another reason that Todd and I, we traveled from Alaska to get to be here to show our support for Joni. So excited to get to see this gal roar into Washington because the girl rides a Harley. Now, they like to say in D.C. that there's some kind of war on women. The liberals especially like to claim that about conservatives, about those in the Republican Party, trying to create this war on women, trying to characterize women as being defenseless, just little chicks who need big daddy, big sugar daddy government to take care of us. Well, I would just give anything to be there when Joni runs into someone like Harry Reid for the first time in the Senate. She'll probably be able to look over the other side of the room and see Deb Fisher over there, maybe give her a wink, and then let Harry Reid know what she really feels about that, sort of that characterization that the liberals have as they try to make it sound like women are defenseless, that women need big government to run our lives because they can do it better for us than we for ourselves. She's going to set them straight. She's a soldier. She's a hardworking farmer. She's a pistol-packing Harley rider. And I don't think Harry Reid's going to spend too much time talking down to her about some war on women. I think he may start worrying about a war on out-of-touch liberal guys from Nevada after meeting Joni. And that's what's needed. So you may notice I use the term when describing hard-working, patriotic women like the gals who have already been up here on stage, and Joni also. When I talk about these American women, I describe them as mama grizzlies. And it's because in Alaska, literally being able to take the time to watch our grizzly bear in their natural habitat, and I notice that so often it's the mama grizzly doing all the work to feed the babies, right? The big boars and the big dads, they're out there, catching their salmon and wrestling around and doing whatever the guys are doing out there in the woods, And it's the women they're catching the fish and they're feeding the cubs. And they're the ones, if any threat comes towards them, towards their cubs, they rise up on their hind leg and they slap away that threat. They're protecting the next generation. And that's exactly what these mama grizzlies are doing, protecting the next generation of Americans, knowing what it takes to slap back that threat. The threats to that next generation, in our case, is this debt, $17 trillion in debt that we're handing to our kids and our grandkids. That's unethical, it's immoral, it's impossible to pay back. And when we know that there's no end in sight, again, just considering the status quo, that debt's going to keep growing and growing, it's imperative that we send those mama grizzlies there to D.C. to rein it in, to stop what's going on with the irresponsible spending. She won't be one to get co-opted. She won't be one to just go along to get along. That's what we needed. And it's not just that debt. It's the annual practice of the deficit spending. It's things like Obamacare, government thinking that they can mandate to us what we have to buy. Since when? That's unconstitutional. And yet, government thinking that they can tell us what to purchase. And if you notice, you're not hearing enough, I think, from candidates talking about, remember the old campaign promises of just a couple of years ago? We were going to repeal it, right? Well, we have the opportunity to at least unfund big chunks of Obamacare, slow it down, then be able to stop it. What happened there with our good senators like Ted Cruz and Mike Lee? They're there filibustering, they're there reminding their colleagues, hey, we have a tool at our disposal. According to the Constitution, it's we, the lawmakers, they have the power of the purse. Let's unfund some of this stuff. And unfortunately, our army, the people, many that we sent there to DC recently to be reinforcements for those warriors to unfund and then repeal Obamacare, they balked. They decided, oh, you know, it's a tough battle. We better keep our powder dry and we'll take on the next battle. Well, there always is a next battle. Let's take care of the ones that are in front of us right now that are so imperative. So we need those who will be part of that army that we're sending to DC to fight for the people's will. In this case, it's something like actually repealing Obamacare. It's just fulfilling the campaign promises that they had made to us, right? And that was just so recent. So we know, we have the faith in Joni that she is one who won't be co-opted into kind of that laissez-faire type of exercise in the Senate, where when she sees that she has an opportunity to fulfill a campaign promise, do what she knows the people want her to do, she's going to do it. And she's got that track record that has proven that. So Joni, she's in this race to work. She's in this race to work for you. I love that she is unpretentious and humble about all of this. You know, it's going to take people out there campaigning for her to brag her up, because she's not going to do that herself. That's within her character is a wonderful humbleness, absolute passion, knowing that she's running for the right reasons and with the servant's heart. But when it comes to actually like letting the press know how good she is, what it is that she has to offer this nation and what her family has to offer, it's going to be up to you all to make sure that the rest of Iowa understands what you have in her. She is in this race to work and to rise up to defend the things that Iowa and the rest of the nation hold so near and dear to our hearts. And that's the blessings of liberty. And that is the future of our kids, our grandkids. She sees that destructive spending. She sees that addiction in DC to opium, other people's money, spending that opium right, left and right. It's like, man, they have, it's such short-sighted thinking there in DC. Well, she, as a mom, as a soldier, as a hardworking farmer, she knows that you have to look long-term. She knows that, you know, she'll be able to, we all will be able to reap a harvest that is sown today. So she, one who grew up castrating hogs, she will know just how to make the big spending piggies there squeal. And that is what we need. Running and that she's going to win, because this seat from Iowa, that's going to give Harry Reid that retirement that he so deserves. He can chill in Nevada, okay? Some of these guys can just, they can go home now. We got it covered. Joni will help get it covered. So really, it is with heels on the ground, gloves are off. That's what we need. You know, time is short. We don't need a whole lot of touchy-feely, compassionate, kumbaya singing around the campfire when it comes to these campaigns. We need the fighters. We need you all to fight for the right folks that we need in DC. No question about it. Joni Ernst is that person. So it's with great respect and honor that I get to hand this over to the next United States Senator from Iowa, Joni Ernst.